Welcome to the Shreveport Connection. Everyone, Tommy. This video is on your 2017 payback pre-show and results. Well, the pre-show opened up with from the SAP Center in San Jose, California. As Renee Young hyped the card. He joined in by Sam Roberts and WWE Hall of Famer Jerry King Lawler. They talked about tonight's House of Horrors match before sending it back to Charlie Caruso in Social Media Lounge. She plugged the show and was joined in by #1 contender Cesaro and Sheamus for later on. And we go back to the panel, and they encourage WWE Network signups. Renee then discusses tonight's U.S. title match. Sam believes Kevin Owens will retain, but Lawler goes with Chris Jericho. We take a break, and we come back to the Sasha Banks on the panel. She discusses the Raw Women's Division and the newcomers. She believes Bayley will show us why she's champion and retain tonight. Roberts agrees, but Lawler goes with Alexa Bliss. Renee leads us to a video package for Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe. Roberts predicts Rollins to win, and Lawler agrees. Renee sends us to the Raw announce team. We go to ringside Michael Coleslaw, Corey Graves, and WWE Hall of Famer Booker T. Enzo and Big Cass versus Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, the Club. We go to the ring. Out comes Enzo Amore and Big Cass for tonight's first match. JoJo does the ring introductions. They have mics and cut promos on their opponents. Anderson and Gallows are out. Secondly, and last, Enzo starts off with Anderson, unloads on him. Enzo takes it to the corner, but Anderson turns it around with a knee. Gallows tags himself in, keeps Enzo grounded. Gallows drops Enzo with a big right hand, and in comes Anderson for another quick tag. Enzo tries to fight back out of a hold, but Anderson clocks him. Enzo ends up rolling Anderson up, but didn't see Gallows tag in. Gallows dropped him and stood tall as we go to commercial, even for a pre-show. Back from the break, Gallows was in control with Anderson. Cass finally gets the tag, unloads on both opponents. He drops the Empire Elbow, a few splashes, and then more on Gallows. The team both teams tangle on the floor before Anderson brings Enzo back in. They go for the Magic Killer, but Cass runs in with a big boot, sending Anderson out of the ring. Enzo takes advantage and rolls Gallows up for the win. 1, 2, 3. After the match, we get replays, and Enzo and Cass hit the ramp to celebrate. Gallows and Anderson aren't very happy. Raw Tag Team Champions Hardys were backstage when Goldust and R-Truth walk in. The two teams greet each other and reminisce for a second. Golden Truth is glad to see the Hardys back, but they're going to talk to Raw General Manager Kurt Angle to issue a challenge to the winners of tonight's match. Hardys like the idea. Matt calls it a tremendous idea. Goldust and Truth leave as Matt comments on how entertaining they are. We go backstage to Charlie Caruso again with Cesaro and Sheamus in the Social Media Lounge. They talk about how they're glad to see the Hardys back, but they're going to take their titles from them tonight. Sheamus wonders if the Hardys are sending in questions to create dissension between he and Cesaro. They're both pretty laid back and confident going into tonight's match. We go back to the panel for predictions on the match. Lawler goes with the Hardys, and Sam agrees. Renee leads us to the House of Horrors promo. Renee says that the match will be no holds barred and will begin in Wyatt's house, then ending in the ring. Renee won't ask for predictions because the match is too unpredictable. The panel hypes the WWE Network and tonight's card once again. We go to the ring. Out comes Miz and Maurice for another episode of Miz TV. Might as well call it Mystery TV. Wonder what they're going to dress up as next. Miz asks fans if they're done, but they give them more heat. They just stood there for like a minute or two. He welcomes us to Miz TV and says tonight we have a special payback edition because his guest has presence, an aura, and his much anticipated return to Raw after WrestleMania 33 had been world talking. Miz tells the crowd to rise and help him welcome his guest. As the music hits, and out comes Finn Balor. Music stops and the fan chant for Finn. Miz asks them if they're done, and they boo him again. Miz also asks Balor if he's done because he just had a 5-minute entrance. Fans cheer for Balor when Miz can't believe they're cheering for a 5-minute entrance. A yes chant breaks out from the crowd. Miz mocks Finn's entrance and asks, "What is it?" Finn says it's Balor Club. Miz asks what it takes to be in the Balor Club and asks if he and Maurice could get in. Finn says that's not up to him. It's more of a club decision. He asks the fans and they boo. Maurice stands up and shows off for a pop. Balor says nope. Miz takes his seat and talks about how he did a lot of homework on Balor. He talks about how Finn had so much promise before coming to WWE. Miz goes on and asks Balor if he feels like a failure when he looks at last year, the last year he had. Balor runs off the list of injuries he suffered in the SummerSlam match to become the first ever WWE Universal Champion. Miz says he was champion for a whole 24 hours, and that's not a failure. He doesn't know what is. He says Balor and the fans relate because they're all failures. Miz says Balor is too small and fights with his heart instead of fighting with his brain. Hey Miz, guess what? You're almost as small as Balor. Miz says while Balor was gone, he was making SmackDown must-see TV and raising the Intercontinental title. And then Miz mocks Balor some more and asks what's next. Balor says he's going to get his title back. Miz reminds him the current champion is Brock Lesnar. Lesnar's name gets boos. Miz says Lesnar will snap Balor in two. Even Miz will mop the floor with Balor. This leads to Balor threatening to kick Miz's butt. Balor stands up and ready for a fight. Miz puts Maurice in between them, and the fans boo again. Calls Maurice a brave woman. Balor says every episode of Miz TV ends the same way, with Miz getting his ass kicked, but today Balor is going to be the bigger man because Miz isn't worth it. Music hits and Balor goes to leave. Miz yells for the music to be cut because he runs the show. Miz says Balor is afraid of Miz and will put him out of action. Balor nails a slinging blade out of nowhere. Balor then drop kicks Miz back into the corner. Next, and Miz rolls to the floor as Balor's music hits in the next segment. We go to the panel to discuss Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman match and run down the rest of the card. That's it for the pre-show. 2017 Payback pay-per-view opens up with a video package live from the sold-out SAP Center in San Jose, California. Michael Colesaw welcomes us. He's joined in by Corey Graves and Booker T. U.S. Championship matchup first. Chris Jericho versus Kevin Owens. We go out to the ring. Out comes Jericho for a big pop as JoJo makes ring introductions. Champion after this match will officially be on the SmackDown roster. And fans chant Y2J after his music stops. U.S. Champion currently, Kevin Owens is out next. We see the international announce team in the arena. The bell rings and Owens goes right to work on the floor to boos before the match even starts. Jericho runs around and decks him. Jericho with a shot into the announce table before bringing it back in the ring. Owens quickly turns it around. Jericho drop kicks him. Jericho knocks Owens off the apron. Jericho goes to the top. Owens rolls back in the ring. Jericho nails a flying elbow for a 2 count. Jericho keeps control and hits the running bulldog. Owens avoids the lion salt and goes to the apron. Owens ends up sending Jericho face first into the ring post. Owens launches Jericho into the barrier and hits a big cannonball into the barrier. Owens goes back in the ring as the referees count. Jericho barely makes it back into the ring. Owens with a senton for a 2. Owens keeps Jericho grounded. Owens keeps control and drops Jericho for a 2 count before going back to a headlock. A stupid idiot chance breaks up for the crowd. Owens keeps control for a few minutes. Jericho comes back with chops and misses a splash in the corner. He hits the turnbuckle, falls out of the ring to the floor. Owens stands tall in the ring as the referee counts once again. Jericho fights back. Owens blocks the wall to Jericho. Jericho nails an insecure for a 2 count. Owens ends up hitting a big kick to the jaw for another 2 count. Fans try to rally for Jericho. Owens goes for the pop-up powerbomb, but it's blocked. Owens blocks a code breaker. Jericho drops him on an elbow. Owens blocks the lion salt with knees. Owens with a corner cannonball for a close 2 count. Owens shows frustration. Jericho turns a pop-up powerbomb into the walls of Jericho and gets it applied in the middle of the ring. Owens makes it to the bottom rope with 1 finger. Jericho is the one showing frustration now. He attacks the finger Owens used to break it. They go to the floor and Jericho slams the hand into the steel steps. He lodges the hand between the ring and the steps and then stomps on it. Owens rolls into the ring in pain as the referee checks on him. Jericho is all smiles, but the referee warns Jericho. Owens with a poke to the eye for a close roll-up. Owens with a kick to the mouth. Owens can't get the pop-up powerbomb because of his finger. Jericho hits the wall applied in the middle of the ring again. This leads to Owens tapping out for the win. After the match, we get replays as Jericho celebrates with the title. He greets fans at ringside, lets a young fan make an addition to the list. Cruiserweight title match, A-Double versus Neville. Back from the break, out comes A-Double. Cruiserweight champion Neville was out next. Now you remember, you're not on the Neville level. They met in the middle of the ring. Neville disrespects Aries back and forth the first minutes of the match. Aries with the speed and impressive offense to knock Neville off his game early on. Aries poses in the corner as fans chant his name. Neville goes at it, but gets dropped with an elbow to the head. Aries launches himself over the top onto Neville. Neville goes right to the floor for a breather, but Aries launches himself over the top again. Aries brings it back in the ring, goes to the top for a 450, but Neville jumps up with a kick and knocks Aries to the mat. Neville turns around after whipping Aries hard into the corner. Neville takes control and keeps Aries grounded as fans boo. Neville with a nice drop kick. He mocks Aries and plays to the crowd after a boot to the head. Aries looks to make a comeback, but Neville cuts him off. Aries comes back again and flies across the ring. Aries with big chops. Aries nails a gutbuster into the STO and a pendulum elbow. Aries with a running uppercut in the corner. Aries goes to the top with a big elbow to the back of the neck for a close 2 count. Aries ends up nailing another big dive to the floor. He brings it back in and goes for last chancery, but Neville fights him off. We get dueling chants from the crowd. Aries with a big elbow to drop Neville to his knees. Aries goes for the discus 5-arm, but it's blocked. Neville misses a kick. Aries with a chin breaker. Aries with a big running shot into the corner. Aries goes back to the top for a 450, but Neville gets back up to his feet. Neville climbs up, but Aries claps him. Aries with a sunset flip from the corner into the last chancery. Neville reaches for the bottom rope and grabs the hand of the referee. Neville ends up putting the referee into them to break the hold. Referee calls for the bell. Disqualification. Put your hands on the referee. He knows that. After the bell, furious Aries yells at the referee about the decision. Neville retreats to the floor and has the title handed to him. Announcer then shows us a video of Cesaro and Sheamus from the social media lounge from the pre-show. Tag team title match up next. Cesaro and Sheamus versus Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy. We go to the ring. Out first comes Sheamus and Cesaro. Tag team champions were out next to a big pop. The biggest pop of the night. A big delete chant starts from the crowd. Matt Hardy shows up with Cesaro and they lock up. Back and forth to start. Jeff Hardy tags in as they continue the broken chants. Matt and Jeff keep up with the quick tags on Cesaro. And yes, they're doing the delete. Delete, delete, as they started the match. Jeff jumps off Matt's back for poetry in motion. Matt with a pin attempt on Cesaro. Matt continues to focus on Cesaro's shoulder. Cesaro drops Matt with an uppercut. In comes Sheamus now. Sheamus with a rolling senton for a 2 count. Cesaro comes back in and drops Matt with a running uppercut in the corner for a 2 count. Sheamus keeps control of Matt and clotheslines him for another pin attempt. Jeff tags in and unloads on Sheamus. Jeff with an inverted atomic drop and then the leg drop. Jeff with a drop kick and more offense for a 2 count. Then works on the left arm of Sheamus. Sheamus fights back and launches Jeff through the ropes to the floor with one arm. Cesaro tags in and rolls Hardy into the ring for a 2 count. Cesaro with a big gut wrench suplex on Jeff for another pin attempt. Cesaro and Sheamus both with a bit of double teaming. Sheamus with a knee off the ropes for a 2 count. Jeff, Sheamus, and Cesaro keep control. Sheamus with an Irish Curse backbreaker on Jeff for a 2 count. Sheamus keeps Jeff grounded as the fans chant for Hardy. Jeff fights off a double team and nails Whisper in the wind on both opponents. Matt waits for a tag and finally gets it. Matt unloads on Cesaro and gets a pop for the save some of his broken mannerisms. Matt comes off the ropes with an elbow to the neck and hits a side effect for a 2 count as Sheamus breaks up the pinfall. Jeff makes a save and ends up leaping off the apron onto Sheamus on the floor. Matt slams Cesaro and then goes up to the top. Matt goes for the moonsault, but Cesaro moves and he lands hard. Cesaro with a springboard corkscrew uppercut. Matt goes for a ride on Cesaro's swing, and it's longer than usual ride. No count for the crowd. I was trying to count, but I lost count because I blinked my eyes and what have you. And then Cesaro applied the sharpshooter in the middle of the ring. Matt makes it to the bottom rope, man, with assists from Jeff. Sheamus floors Jeff and sends him into the barrier. Cesaro runs into a boot in the corner. Matt goes back to the top, but Cesaro uppercuts him. Sheamus tags in and climbs up for a super white noise. He nails it, but Jeff makes a save, just in time. Jeff sends Cesaro out to the floor. Jeff leaves off the apron, but Cesaro catches him. Jeff counters and sends Cesaro over the barrier. Matt ducks a brogue kick. Sheamus fights off a twist of fate. Sheamus drops Matt with a DDT for a close 2 count. Sheamus blocks it with another twist of fate. Jeff tags in. Sheamus slams Matt, thinking he's the legal man. Jeff goes to the top and nails a swanton to the back of Sheamus for the win. After the match, Hardys recover and grab their titles as we go to replay. Cesaro and Sheamus are recovering as we see Matt and Jeff check on them. Both teams are up on the feet. They shake hands and raise arms. Matt and Jeff hit the corner to pose. Sheamus and Cesaro leave, apparently. Cesaro comes back and shoves Jeff off the top. Sheamus attacks Matt. They unload at ringside, and Sheamus sends Matt into the bear for their back heel turn. Both guys heel turn. Cesaro pulls Jeff into the ring post twice. Sheamus sends Matt into the post. Sheamus nails brogue kicks Jeff into the ring post and from behind while Cesaro holds him. Fans are booing. They bring Matt back in the ring. Cesaro puts the title in his face and talks trash. Cesaro holds Matt while Sheamus floors him with a brogue kick. Sheamus and Cesaro raise the titles. As Cesaro has words with the referees, that was checking on Matt. We go to replay. Sheamus and Cesaro leave and stop the pose as the fans boo. Let's continue. Back from the break, Braun Strowman is backstage by himself. He says Roman Reigns came tonight looking for payback, but what he found was the biggest mistake of his life. He goes on and promises to hurt Reigns tonight. We go to the ring. Out comes Alexa Bliss for the next match. Women's title match. Raw Women's Champion Bayley was out next to a big hometown pop. Coleslaw says Bayley had 25 family members and friends here to watch Bayley tonight. Bayley hits the ring as we see some more international announced teams in the arena. We get formal ring introductions from JoJo before the match starts. Back and forth start the match. Bliss takes control. Bayley turns around for a big pop. Bayley unloads in the corner but runs into a huge shot to the mouth. Bliss with more offense and 2 pin attempts before keeping Bayley grounded. We get more Bayley chants from the crowd, but Bliss keeps control and covers for a 1 count. And then another. Bliss stretches and keeps Bayley grounded before going for another pin attempt. Bayley tries to fight back, but Bayley stops her, pulls her by the hair while the referees count and warns her. They end up on the floor, and Bliss taunting Bayley almost backfires on her. Bayley makes a comeback and unloads on her. Bayley drops Bliss's face first into the top turnbuckle. Bayley with a suplex and an elbow to the back. Bayley with a sliding clothesline and shoulder thrust in the corner. Bayley with a side suplex for a 2 count. Bayley goes for a second rope and hits the elbow. Bliss blocks the Bailey to belly suplex and sends Bailey into the turnbuckles. Bliss steps on Bailey and climbs to the top. Bailey cuts her off with her forearm and climbs up herself. Bailey goes for a super Bailey to belly, but it's blocked. Bliss with a sunset flip powerbomb to the mat for a close 2 count. And my buddy Robert was here. He was watching on the network, and he's screaming, "What the heck was that?" It's like he's never seen a Bailey to belly before. Super Bailey to belly. He was impressed by the move because he's never seen it from a woman's standpoint. Bliss talks some trash, but slams Bailey. Bliss with knees, but fails to follow up. Bailey comes back and drops her with a running knee. Bailey goes up to the top again for the big Macho Man elbow drop for a 2 count. Bailey ends up getting set into the turnbuckle in the ring post, which leads to Bliss hitting DDT for the pin and the win. Winner and new women's champion, Alexa Bliss. After the match, Bliss takes the title and celebrates as we go to replays. We come back to Bailey down the ring as Bliss raises the title on the ramp. We come back and the announcers lead us to a promo for tonight's House of Horrors match. The match starts from the house. We go to the ring. JoJo announces that this non-title, no-holds-barred match will begin in Bray Wyatt's home before ending here in the ring. Hey, I didn't know he was from Sacramento. Just saying. Probably taped from somewhere, and they end up in the ring. The announcers start talking about the match until we cut to Wyatt's home. A limousine pulls up at nighttime with a WWE champion, Randy Orton, in it. Of course, there's a driver. But where is he when it leaves? Of course, Wyatt's in the car later. Well, Orton steps out, and there's a lot of spooky shenanigans going on. Orton approaches the house, but is having trouble getting in. And then he has to kick the door open. As he tried to open it, we hear Bray Wyatt's voice telling Orton to run. Orton asks where he's at. Wyatt attacks from behind and beats Orton down in the living room. Wyatt laughs and talks trash while beating Orton around the house. Mind game continues as Orton looks for Wyatt in a room with wacky baby dolls hanging from the ceiling. Hey, it's Chucky. It's time to play. Wyatt attacks from behind again. The wackiness continues into the kitchen. Orton looks to be getting the upper hand, but Wyatt ends up tipping the refrigerator over on him at the angle. Of course, Orton wasn't hurt at all because the angle of it was leaning on the, counters. Wyatt makes it out of the house and yells about following the buzzards. He laughs and makes his way into the limousine. Wyatt tells the driver to take it to the arena and start singing in his hands as they drive off. He's got the whole world in his hands. Announcers lead us to the video package for the next match. Where's Orton? How does he get to the arena? It's taped. Samoa Joe versus Seth Rollins up next. As they brought us with a video package leading up to that match, we go to the ring, and out first comes Seth Rollins with a pop. Samoa Joe was out next. Bell rings and they lock up. Going to the corner to start, they trade shots, runs the ropes until Rollins drop kicks Joe out of the ring. Joe pulls him down, but Rollins kicks him away and launches himself over the top onto Joe. Rollins with a big chop and a right hand. Rollins with more strikes, but Joe turns it around and tosses him over the barrier as the referee counts. Rollins comes flying off the barrier with a clothesline. Rollins brings it back into the ring and goes to the top. Joe rolls to the floor. Rollins drops down and runs the ropes for a suicide dive, sending Joe into the barrier. Rollins going back into the ring and nails another suicide dive. Joe goes to work on the injured knee, sending Rollins to the floor. Joe runs the ropes now and nails a big dive, sending Joe into the announce table at ringside. Joe brings it back in the ring, keeping Rollins down. Joe takes Rollins down by the knee again. Joe drops a big splash on the knee as Rollins yells in pain. Joe keeps control and hits an insecurity for another 2 count. Rollins hooked looks to make a comeback and connects with a kick to the face. Rollins with shots in the corner and sells a knee injury. Rollins then nails a neck breaker. Joe ends up taking Seth out of the air and going back to work on the knee. Joe with a knee bar. Joe talks to trash while keeping Rollins down. Rollins counters the move and lands on his feet. Joe pulls him into a powerbomb for a 2 count. Joe with a half crab. Submission now. And then puts it into a clover leaf. No, because he doesn't cross the leg. Joe makes it to the bottom rope. The referee warns Joe, and he pulls a boot to Rollins' face in the corner, and also the legs, more like a Boston crab. Joe runs the ropes, but Rollins jumps up with a forearm. Rollins with a back elbow and a sling blade, more back and forth. Rollins with a kick in the corner, and then rockbuster from the corner for a 2 count. Rollins then manages to go and kick Joe in the face for a 2 count. And then Rollins goes up top, but Joe cuts him off. Joe climbs up, but Rollins slides under him. Rollins goes for a powerbomb, but his knee gives out. Rollins ends up hitting a Falcon Arrow for a 2 count after that. Rollins then goes up top and hits a big frog splash on Joe. Rollins wastes time by clutching his knee, and Joe kicks out at 2. They trade shots in the middle of the ring again. Joe unloads with open strikes. Rollins drops Joe with a kick. Rollins gets riled up, but Joe grabs him for a sleeper hold. They end up on the mat as Rollins brings Joe down for a pin attempt. Joe then floors Rollins with a clothesline and gets the hold applied again. Rollins drops Joe out of nowhere and puts Joe into the pin for the surprise win. After the match, Joe can't believe it as Rollins makes his exit as we get replays. We come back. My dog Bailey tries to get in the action. We come back to the two staring at each other down from the ramp and the ring. Well, what does that mean? More feud going on. House of Horrors match again. Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt. Back for the break. Close all hyping. Raw talk on the network after the pay-per-view. And we see the limousine pulling into the back. Wyatt stumbles out, heads towards the crowd. Close-eye indicates a possible fortune as WWE Champion Randy Orton was seen last under the refrigerator. Music hit, out comes Bray Wyatt for the second half of the non-title House of Horrors match. Wyatt enters the ring with his lantern and the music stops. Fans boo. Lights come up and fans pop, and Orton is standing right behind Wyatt. Wyatt can't believe it. Orton has a steel chair and he goes to work on Wyatt. They go to the floor. Orton tosses Wyatt over an ambulance, over an announce table. Orton with a draping DDT from the announce table and into the floor. Onto the floor. Orton takes his time and nails Wyatt in the back with the chair. Before bringing him in the ring, Orton poses for a pop. Orton ready for RKO when the Singh brothers attack him from behind and beat him down. Orton fights him off, but here comes Wyatt. Orton ends up hitting him with an RKO. Jinder Mahal comes in and nails Orton from behind to stop the 3 count. And then he steals he brings the title belt that he stole on Mike. He nails Orton with the title belt. Jinder with more shots on Orton. Wyatt takes advantage of it and nails Sister Abigail on Orton for the win. After the match, Jinder heads to the ramp with the Singh brothers. He still has the WWE title in his hand. Orton and Wyatt lay flat on their backs in the ring as we go to replays. Back for the break. And we'll get a video package for tonight's main event. Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman. We go to the ring. Out first comes Braun Strowman. Fans are booing before the music even hits. Out comes Roman Reigns. Reigns is heavily taped and bandaged. Looks like a mummy. He strikes before the bell and goes to work early on. They end up on the floor and Braun slams Reigns on top of the announce table after snatching him out of midair on a drive-by. They come back in the ring. Reigns decks Braun, but it does nothing. Braun clubs him to the mat and fans do dueling chants. Braun runs the ropes and smashes Reigns in the corner. Braun stands over Reigns and continues to punish him. Braun sends Reigns shoulder first into the ring post. Braun charges at ringside and pins Reigns against the steel steps. Braun sends Reigns shoulder first and the steps out as Braun rocks Reigns with big knees. Braun drops Reigns again for another pin attempt. Braun hugs Reigns for a bear hug, takes him to the mat. The hold is broken with elbows, and they end up on the floor again. After more counters, including a Superman punch attempt, Reigns hits a Samoan drop for a 2 count. Reigns manages to hit a drive-by. Reigns charges for a spear on the floor, but Braun catches him. Reigns counters and sends Braun into the ring post. Braun hits the ring post again. After Reigns moves, they come back into the ring. Reigns hits a spear, but Braun kicks out at 2. Reigns ready for a spear, but Braun headbutts him instead. Reigns headbutts him instead. Braun scoots Reigns, but he slides out and hits a Superman punch, but Braun is still standing. The second Superman punch puts him down. Reigns runs the ropes, but Braun catches him. Reigns misses another Superman punch. Braun gets a triangle applied. Braun power slams Reigns for a 2 count. Yeah, a triangle choke. Undertaker style. Braun can't believe that he kicked out of that. Braun scoots Reigns up for another power slam attempt, but this time Reigns doesn't kick out. After the match, Braun stands tall as we see some unhappy and surprised fans in the crowd. Well, other crowd members are saying, thank you, Strowman. But Robert was not believing it. Yeah, heels. They don't like Reigns. Reigns leaves the ring and tosses part of the steel steps back in as some fans do the yes chant. Braun warns referees to try to interfere. Braun stands the steps up on his side, and the thank you chant gets even louder from the crowd. Braun scoots Reigns on his shoulder and drops him into the steps. We go to more replays. Reigns is down as Braun grabs the steel steps again. Braun lifts the steps in high in midair and slams them down on Reigns for another pop. Agent Finley and Adam Pearce are out now. I thought it was what's his name? Jamie Noble. Braun leaves the ring and shows fit. Fans cheer for Braun as he poses on the ramp, as officials tend to Roman in the ring. Coleshaw wonders where the hell EMTs are at. Reigns appears to be legitimately cut open as there's blood. Another thank you chant from the crowd. We come back for another replay, and Reigns is being helped out of the ring. He falls. A "You deserve it" chant breaks out from the crowd. Reigns stumbles up to the announce table as paramedics arrive. Reigns says he's not getting on the stretcher. He keeps walking towards the back as Payback goes off the air. Raw Talk opens up on the network with Reigns being checked on backstage. And they continue to beat down backstage. And basically cut the feed at that point. And apparently, both of them have injuries. Stay tuned for more on Raw results. Thanks again. Peace out. See you on the video. If you don't know, just comment, brothers and sisters.